So I'm actually a few minutes early. How unusual was that? So I'll just wait a few minutes before I start speaking. Look at the camera lens, so it's not so muggy. So how are you this afternoon? This cloudy afternoon? Well, it's cloudy here. Okay, so I'll just start. So, what is the title? Freedom. Oh, this isn't intellectual. This isn't intellectual. Nice. So welcome to the stream. I do this stream every Thursday at 2 p.m. UK time. So you join through YouTube at that time. Feel free to ask questions. Preferably, you call or I'll call you through Skype. And Kelly is my Skype name, but to find me initially, to friend me on Skype, you have to look for Rebekah Maroon, and you'll see Kelly as my name, but then you can friend me, and then I'll be in your list, so you can then call or ask written questions again through Skype. So yeah, I tend to do about an hour. So yeah, until 3 o'clock, roughly. Depending on, depending. So yeah, that's kind of all there is to know about it, really. If you do call in, then please mute the YouTube and just speak to me through and hear me back through Skype and not through YouTube, as it affects the audio. Well, it creates that feedback. So yeah. So welcome to the non-duality talk. How lovely. How lovely. What was it again? This isn't intellectual. That's it. This isn't intellectual. So, as I always start these talks saying, what I always say is, this is the most beautiful subject. It's just the most beautiful subject. So it's really bizarre, very strange. That in the end of looking, in the end of seeking, in the end of spiritual seeking, trying to find answers, trying to find truth, it's very strange and bizarre how what we end up talking about is what is happening. So after seeming time, so years and years of looking for something, whether that be in career and finances, or through hobbies, or through relationships, all this looking for something to finally arrive and feel happy and content and peaceful. And after all that seeking, it's funny how what is then discovered and what is then spoken about is actually what is always here. It was overlooked in the pursuit, in the looking and the seeking for something else, something better. All the ideas that the mind picks up about better, something else. And then the seeking for that, the endless seeking, the endless searching, the endless next in time. It's just so funny and bizarre and strange and wonderful to then discover something that isn't in that seeking timeline. And it's a radical thing to be it's a radical thing to be talking about, which is again so bizarre, that to talk about this, what is happening, the actuality of things, to talk about that is a radical thing to do. How weird is that? But that's what's being spoken about. The simplicity of this, not through the mind, so the mind can hear that and then think, oh, it's this or it's that, but that's not what's being spoken about. That's the mind, that's the thoughts and the thought interpretation, the intellectual interpretation of what's being spoken about. What's actually being spoken about is this, what is happening. And that includes the thoughts and the intellectual ideas about this. But they're not true. The thoughts, the mind's projections aren't true. This is, as in what's happening is, it's all there is. This is, but it's not a fixed thing. So we often with the mind are looking for a fixed thing, an object. So to objectify this into a thing called this isn't what's being spoken about. It's a real coming back to the actual experience, but it isn't someone coming back to that. And that's the problem of the person, that it is someone in time, and it believes that this is about it coming back to this moment, it being involved in it in some way, it having a place and a position. And this is the it depends how you see it, but this is the difficult part of this, or the most wonderfulest part of this, is that this isn't about you. It isn't about that mental you, the idea of you. And that's why it's free, because you are only in time. You are in flux, you are in change, you are in story, you are in some position, some story, some drama. So this isn't about that. It's such a freedom. It's such a freedom. It's such a radical freedom outside of time, outside of you. That's why it's free. So we're pointing back to what is, and to the person who wants something, who needs something, who's seeking to attain or seeking to avoid this. It can be hellish to hear that. It can cause a strong reaction to hear that this is it. There's nothing in time that's going to give you anything. There is no time in that sense. This is it. This idea of you is not needed. Life is happening, and it's happening freely. It's not happening to you or because of you or from you. This you is merely a part of this, but it's not the way it seems, when it seems as if that me is who you are, that me is who's looking. So it's just a simple collapsing back into this moment, back into what is happening, back into the experience. A collapsing of this idea of something else, something better. As a character, as a human, there's always going to be a story or a movement towards better, towards wanting something, towards solving some human crisis or something. Oh, again, this happened last week, I think, as well. So funny. We never answer that home phone. It's so funny. It rings and no one ever answers it. No one gets up to answer it. So yeah, the humans always gonna, it's always gonna be that appearance of moving towards something, like a wanting of something and then moving towards that. Whether it be anything, just like, wanting to tidy your home or wanting to improve your, I don't know, your skill or whatever. It's always going to be that movement, that appearance of development or growth or change. But it's like, well, when there's that sense of you are a person, like that desire to say improve your home or something, or improve a skill, normally that's like lived through, that is who you are. And there's so much importance on that because that's who you are. It's imperative that you achieve that. Your happiness is based upon that. And that's that seeking. Whereas you can have a project or something you're working on to improve and get better at, but who you are isn't based in that. Who you are isn't based in that character and whatever it has or doesn't have or wants or doesn't want. Yeah, it's pleasant, it's, but it's not, you aren't sucked up in that as who you are. And that's the difference it feels here. It's like who you are is a lot bigger than that limitation of a human, of a character, of a storyline. So beautiful that you aren't confined to an individual, to a person. So beautiful. That you are all things, all things, all things, and yet not any particular thing, not anything, not anything. You aren't anything, and yet there's everything, and you are everything. And then weirdly, you also this character, this particular, so there's everything: the cushion, the phone, the laptop, the glass, the camera, the hand, the blanket. There's all the room, the window, the light, the sound of the computer humming, all things, and yet there's also a character appearing, a human appearing. And it's like there's some kind of identification in a way, which is so bizarre to say, as a human. It's so crazy. It's identification as a human. So like it's like this is seemingly this human. It's not this cushion isn't speaking now. This cushion isn't looking now and hearing and moving. So there's so there's no difference between this human and this cushion, and yet there is. This human can has eyes. This human can hear and interpret, and there's thoughts and there's movement, whereas this cushion doesn't have that functioning ability. So there seems to be a difference in the glass and the cushion and then this human. There's no denying there's a difference between these seeming things, and yet this human instrument, this human functioning, isn't. There's nothing in it independent from everything else. It's just the expression of it through this is different than the expression of it through the cushion or through the phone or through the glass. It's a different expression of the sameness. The sameness, the oneness is all things. Which is just amazing. 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 So in humans, there seems to be this ability to express individuality, autonomy. There seems to be that expression of that autonomousness, individualness, uniqueness, which is even in grass. You see that grass, every single blade of grass is unique and different. So it's duplexity. Is that a word? Duplexity. Is that a word? Duplexity or multiplicity? But ultimately, it's not. It's unity expressing as multiplicity. And this may sound very complicated and intellectual, and yet it's really not. It's really like what I'm saying is just words coming out, just communicating with human language, human verbal language. That's part of it. But there's something else that isn't caught up in these words, in the meaning of these words. Yes, the brain can interpret them as input and make sense of them logically, intellectually, and that can be pleasant. But there's something else that is just not affected by that. It's just here, just here. So these words are being spoken in the same way you press a piano keys on the piano, and the sound waves come out, oscillate and come out, and your ears pick up the sound and the brain interprets it. But it's gone. You can press the sustain pedal, but the sound will eventually dissipate as if it never even happened, as if it means nothing, uncatchable, unownable, just floating and disappearing. So the mind can hear these words, the brain can hear them and interpret them as being right, I agree with her, or wrong, she's talking nonsense. You can do either of those things, but it's totally irrelevant. It's totally irrelevant. It's not going to lead to anywhere. So you can line up non-duality, line up all the speakers, line up all the texts, understand it inside out, but it's never going to lead somewhere because there's nowhere to lead to. That's pure illusion, that the mind's leading somewhere. This idea of time, of going somewhere in the future, is pure illusion that you are heading somewhere. You exist. This is it. What is being longed for is this. What is happening? Because that's all there is. This is all there is. This is all there is. And I don't mean that as a catchphrase or something intellectual. So once that catchphrase disintegrates and dissolves, the words are spoken, the ears hear, the mind interprets, it dissolves. This is still all there is without that catchphrase. It's just pointing to what already is, to this full emptiness, this empty fullness. That's it. This is it. Da, da, da. Yummy, yummy, yummy. So okay, maybe that's it. So you can message on Skype if you would like. If you feel to message, you can message on Skype. I am active. You can do it. Oh, okay, I'll put it this side. Hi on chat, Johnny. Oh, Chill, Chill. Hi, inescapable, Lucio. Hi. I'll just give people on Skype a chance to people to use Skype if they want to call in or something. So there's no Skype. I'll go to the chat. I'll go to chat while oops. Okay. Well, it's not really a question, so I won't answer. I won't address that. It's more your opinion, I'm assuming. So you feel this is a religion and you're saying to others, forget it. So someone's responded to heal, I think. Yeah. So I'll let chat just be chat, and then I'll if any questions come through, I'll address them. Mm. Mm. If I shut my eyes, still feel free to send questions through Skype. Um, yeah, please don't call in. Please just say, "Can I call?" And I'll say yeah. It's just more pleasant on my nervous system to have a beep rather than a ringing tone. But yeah, you're more than welcome to ask anything or speak. Yeah, Johnny, you can ask a question. Do you have anything to say about a sense of wanting connection or confirmation from others? It can be so draining in a way. Um, yeah, it can be very draining to be seeking confirmation or acceptance or connection with others. Very draining. I think it's a natural to want connection with others, to want to be a part of the human family, and to have that sense of community, which a lot of us don't seem to have in this modern era of the internet. A lot of us don't have strong communities. Some of us do, but some of us don't. Lots of us don't. So there can be loneliness and a wanting to connect with others and have that support and yeah, connection. That's a natural thing. Um, yeah, so it's a natural desire that comes up to be a, a part of the whole, to be a part, not to be isolated or on your own. Um, but the difference I feel is when there's seeking, because that natural desire to be a part of a community, to have a place, have a part to play, that's hijacked, when that's believed to be the problem, and then if that was fulfilled, then I would feel fulfilled and whole and happy. So when seeking gets hold of that natural desire or natural movement to form connection, that's when the problem comes in, because the only real connection that there is with yourself, not yourself as a human, as a construct, as a person, but with what you are, with what you actually are. So it seems like as an individual small person, you've lost wholeness, you've lost that connection to wholeness, so you feel like you're missing something, and therefore this drive, this seeking, um, gets so heavy and so strong to find wholeness. But then the mind thinks that you'll find wholeness, you'll find that in something, whether it be in connection with others, whether it be in whatever it is, being famous or whatever, you'll find it in that. And it's just not true, but the mind can only seek, can only look for what it believes is missing. So it's this radical, radical opening, this radical collapsing, this radical dissolving of that illusion, of that identification with that being who you are, this small person being who you are, because it's simply not true. That's not who you are. That's not what's here now. That's a movement that appears here. A movement of someone appears here, but it's not the reality. It's a form, an object, the cloud moving. When you believe yourself to be that cloud, then there is that longing to be whole again. Isn't that a song, Whole Again? How's it go? I can't remember. Whole again. No. Yeah. He was that Johnny, yeah. Yeah. That's it, Atomic Kids. Thank you. Jay-Z? Jeezy. GZ. Jeezy. Yeah, so yeah. So it's like, you know, I would say you could look at, like, you know, so on a human, as a human, you want to have connection, you want to have, look at trying to find that, I was going to say, but actually you could do that, but actually what's more important than that is looking for what is really wanted, what real connection actually is. Is it possible really in that limited sense? Or is it a deeper connection that's longed for? A deeper connection. And what could that be too? Yeah, I was going to say, what can that too be? What can that be too? What can be connected? What is missing? Where is this half with the missing piece? What is it? Like, what is missing here? Thank you, Johnny, for your question. So, any more last minute questions before I end the stream? Okay. Thank you, lovelies. I shall see you next time. Bye.